Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Disaster Tour. I'm PT, your Disaster Tour Guide, and we are rejoining our Hunters of Hope in Bits, Crits, and Halfwits. We're going to dive right into it. First, we have, Lyra, you have a question for everyone?
Yes, the question of the day. Apologies to Isaac, but if you were playing your character as a Tav in Baldur's Gate, who are you romancing? So sorry, Isaac.
Well, this is going to be great, because first we have Elliot Burning Oak, the half-elf wizard from Zraya, played by...
Me, Isaac, and I understood 90% of those words.
Nice.
And got none of the meaning, so...
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm in that boat.
If I
Just say Karlak.
I would romance myself.
That's good too.
You would do what is happening in my Baldur's Gate, where Withers goes, "Do you not like love? You are utterly alone.
You are without love."
In my playthrough, I got propositioned by like 3 characters at the Tiefling party.
Damn.
And I was like, I'm sorry.
In my stream playthrough, there was nobody left to proposition by the time I got to the Tiefling party. Then we have Lyra Dreamshadow, the Kalishtar wizard from Stipvale, played by...
Hello, I'm Rosie, when Rosie sees us on the internet. And the obvious answer is Karlak, of course. Very much has a lot in common with Nuzin. But I feel like giving a second answer just because that's really obvious. So if Karlak wasn't there, or like, you know, Lyra just missed her, didn't pick her up as a companion, I think that Lyra would be going for Gale, probably. They have a lot in common. Right.
That makes
sense. So if it's not Nuzin, it's Elliot?
I don't think Gale and Elliot are that similar.
They are not.
Like, they're both wizards.
The only thing
Elliot's a little more confident in himself.
The only thing I know about Gale is that they were pulled out of a portal, right? So honestly, they kind of feel like Karak in that instance.
Yeah, they were
pulled out of some trap.
Gale was a level 20 wizard until they fucked the god of magic, pissed her off, and lost all their powers. And then we have Karakarim, the Furbolg warlock from Elenia, played by...
Hello, it's Terminian Link VT, and I gotta say Karlak, because the only 3 people I know from Baldur's Gate are Astarion, Gale, and Karlak. Karlak just seems to fit that energy of just happiness and wonder that Karak really needs. Needs someone to be there to be like, look at that.
And then we have Nuzin Worldwalker, the Minotaur Sorbarian from Ulfast, played by...
It's me, the Sky Tea. I think that Nuzin would probably romance Will. Because he's just so wholesome and old-fashioned, and I think that would appeal to her. If we were going by Minotaur standards, though, like outside of Karlak, which is just too obvious to even do, I think Halsin would probably be the second one, because he'd probably be able to fight her.
Interesting. I thought the second one would have been Lae'zel.
Lae'zel is too mean. I think that Nuzin is too good-hearted to get past what a bitch Lae'zel is in the beginning. You know what I mean? She's too, she wouldn't be able to tolerate her long enough to, be romantically interested.
Form any sort of meaningful connection.
Exactly.
And then last but not least, we have Lulin Boldspeaker, the Minotaur Druidin from Ulfast, played by...
Me, Brabo. Me, Brando, would pick Lae'zel. Fuck you, Sky. Lulin, however, would pick Halsin.
Yeah, that tracks.
I love that.
Yeah, I mean, me, Sky, would pick Karlak, but that's too on the nose.
Lulin being in that camp would be Gale's worst nightmare, because Gale canonically cooks all the camp meals. All right, roll me your D100s while I do the recap. Last week on Bits, Crits, and Halfwits, they were kind of debating what to do until people's stupidity forced their hand as the quarantine was broken by a poorly used teleport spell. They evacuated the city, and they decided to evacuate to Zraya, where they came into the transporting tower, a incredibly tall marble tower with teleportation circles all the way up and a large ramp down the middle. Upon going down, they saw that the other people leaving Ulfast were being essentially bound so they couldn't cast magic and taken somewhere to be tested. And not wanting that to happen to get to them, they went up. Well, Lyra told Elliot that he should flex his power a little bit several times. And Elliot, in a surprising turn of character, did not want to do that in the slightest. But they all went back up the tower, and they called for their Uber, who happens to be Elliot's uncle, who came and picked them up and is now taking them to his house. I think he teleported you all to his house.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were back on one of the platforms. But with that, as the teleportation magic fades around you and you find yourself in a grandiose library filled with artifacts and statues and taxidermied creatures. Hunters of Hope, what are you doing?
Now that I think about it, maybe we should have gone through quarantine. It just seems kind of, I don't know. What if, that's how you get, the sickness through quarantine is you let people not do quarantine,
I mean,
Maybe we should go back.
you're not wrong, but also I don't think any of us are infected currently. Are we?
I don't think so either, but I don't know.
Well, there's a very easy way to find out that, my dear boy. Everybody cast a spell.
Seems like the worst. Okay.
I don't know if you want me to do that. Some crazy shit happens sometimes when I cast spells.
You watch as he, reaches down, he pulls out a notebook and goes, cast a spell.
Does it have to be like a big thing, or can we do
Any magic will do.
Okay. I'll just do a little gust.
I also just realized I never took that long rest that we got.
I also didn't take the long rest, so I'm gonna do that really quick.
As you go to cast this spell, Lyra, you feel for the weave, and it's not there.
I don't know if I can. I don't think I can. What's going on?
Exactly. You cannot cast magic here, which means even if you were to have some sort of sensibility, or if you were infected, you would not be able to pass it on to anybody else, and nobody in the premises would be able to catch it from you. Same nifty little anti-magic trick I used on the museum.
Okay.
I'm sure you remember, when you were busy breaking into my vault, I'm sure you encountered it.
Yeah, I remember that. Good times.
Yes, I believe it was you and Newsen. And, well, clearly Nom's not here. I mean, he did take possession of the museum after I came back to the city. Last I checked in with the boy, he was...
the museum?
Well, last I checked, I obviously took all the artifacts and exhibits with me, but last I checked he was building a wonderful exhibit covering the entire museum of his favorite trees.
Oh, he does like doing.
He does love trees.
Now, Newsen, you were saying something interesting happens when you use your magic. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Well, the last time I cast a spell, which was yesterday, I accidentally summoned a black djinn.
Indeed.
Yeah, so that happens sometimes.
Did you happen to get its name?
Nope. Didn't I? Sorry.
Truly unfortunate. You know, I've become familiar with one or two throughout my lifetime, so always nice to know if we know the same people.
Well, I mean, if you have a way to contact them, you could probably ask them, because it was probably a pretty memorable experience, considering there was, like, an army of sentient crabs coming to have a conversation with us while we were talking to him.
Oh no. Well, I do need to hear more about that, but Jin are not somebody you contact twice in a lifetime, though.
Oh, I see. Got it.
Now, what brings you all to the city? Please follow me. I believe that
Elliot's
they
gonna
have...
try to subtle cast, not subtle cast, the actual feat to subtle cast to see if a wizard trying to be subtle. Just a little prestidigitation to see if his little extra magic-y magic that he learned from his buddy in the prison still works here.
So it doesn't feel like it's because of your extra magic, but your prestidigitation does work.
Interesting. Also, here, just for the crew, we'll do a little stealth roll, and everyone else can
give me a sleight of hand roll instead of a stealth roll.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Are we rolling to contest it, or is it against?
You are rolling perception to contest it.
Okay.
Thank God.
Not good enough, huh? Did you? Oh, yeah, I was like, you just rolled a nat 20.
I clicked on it and I saw. I guess I saw Lulens.
Yeah, you saw Lulens.
Yeah, my
So
went
like,
from a 15.
Darn, a nat 20.
Yeah, you hit mine and I went from a 15 to a 9. Thanks.
Lyra, you both detect the magic and hear Elliot mutter the words under his breath.
Ooh. I'm gonna make eye contact and call him a Nepo baby. See, you do look, you're like exempt from I'm doing this with my brain. You're like exempt from the rules. I think you could have gotten my mom out of the
I'm not exempt from the rules.
Then what was that?
It was blood magic.
Blood magic.
Yep, as he turns away and follows his uncle.
No,
Do I think that's a thing? Is that real? Do I think that's a real reason why that could be happening?
Roll
Here,
Arcana.
I'll roll a deception.
That gives it the game, doesn't it? 28 for Arcana.
It could be. I mean, you've never really... All the magic that you grew up around was technological magic, so you're not actually sure if blood magic would have that kind of effect.
Okay. But it's like plausible. It's not like
It's
bullshit.
It's
like,
not
okay,
impossible.
maybe.
And it could have something to do with his blood, as in because he is in the same family as his uncle.
Call him a Nepo baby.
You were right the first time, yeah.
Yeah, Nepo baby,
Well-
says the person who was like, use your Nepo baby privilege.
While this is
Nepo
all,
baby. Why don't you
person
Nepo
who's, like,
baby?
actually a Nepo baby. like Lyra's
Karak.
for real a Nepo baby.
For the
Well, this is-
first time ever,
Mhm.
you feel no connection to your god in this place.
Got it. Huh. I mean, first time, because
No. First time. Because
Oh my.
even when you were in the stone, you had a touch of your god's magic. You feel no connection to your god.
Brock just has 1,000-yard stare right now.
Now, do come with. I will need to get your name in a bit when you're done basking in the magnificence of my catalog. But, dear boy, if you would follow me, I believe the servants have set out a fine selection of teas in the other room. As he, like, puts an arm over Elliot's shoulder and just starts leading him out.
Can I
No
ask you
question
something,
on the
PT?
Yes,
Do I feel a connection to Astra Leone?
you do not.
Okay.
All right,
Interesting.
and they leave the four of you in that room as the situation I previously discussed has come up. Talk about it.
Oh, I see. I was like, what?
Uh-huh.
And then okay, yeah.
Yep.
Hey.
Yep.
Yeah. I was also like staring blankly.
I know. I was like, what
Are-
situation got brought up?
Okay.
Are all of Elliot's family hard to get a beat on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I think it runs in the family.
I think it's like a.
Excuse me.
You're not
Elliot
here.
shouts it from the other room.
They just
Excuse me.
they seem so welcoming and inviting, but now
But it's
I
in
don't-
that like
I'm
really
leaving Brando in charge of whether or not you roll things.
okay.
Hey.
I just feel
Uh...
I didn't expect to. I expected to feel safe when they invited us here, but I don't. I don't know why. Just don't. Brock is just fiddling with like a pencil or like with his notebook, just tapping it against the thing. Very nervous about the feeling he's having right now.
Well, Karak, if I could be brutally honest, not all of the elves, but a good majority, if you weren't an elf, or even a human at times, if you were a higher up in the military, you were below a living being. To
Yep.
them.
There's some really rough history.
Oh.
I mean, I know that you thought everyone was being polite on the way in, but
It's probably the first time a Minotaur's ever stepped foot on city limits.
yeah. Freely. I mean, I imagine
Yes.
they probably, brought some people back here alive before quartering them and eating them.
I'll be honest, when you all said recent history, I was thinking a couple hundred years ago.
No.
It's not. Time isn't exactly the easiest up here. So,
We're talking within the last 2-3 years.
They started a war with us when we were cut off from most of the world. I mean, as we have traveled around the world, a lot of people have been seeing minotaurs for the first time. We kept to ourselves. We were not outside of a couple different people, like Valiant Eye, who is one of the only minotaurs to sail because we don't swim well. We didn't interact a lot with the world. We were, us and the Furbolgs were self-sufficient on our own around the Misty Lock. We didn't really need trade or anything like that. So,
I guess it's just a bit of culture shock.
yeah. Well, I really hate elven bureaucracy outside of the racism, so I'm sure this is gonna go really good.
Again, it's not all, but the majority. Like Elliot and his uncle, even his brother, are very nice. They're very open thinkers. It's just unfortunate that after nailing all your citizens to thinking these kind of people are just less. It sticks.
Yeah. And Karak's kind of just gonna sort of find a place to rest against like a wall or something and go to like his little sketchbook and actually start just sketching some things, you know.
Well,
Still available for talking, by the way. Just,
yeah.
you know, I don't want people thinking I'm exiting the conversation.
Also, Elliot's a nepo baby. He can do magic. Did you see him do magic like a minute ago?
What's it?
It's like nepotism. I really feel like he could have like, you know, like got my mom out of the quarantine line.
I don't know.
You know?
It feels.
It is. I didn't notice him do magic, but that's
Probably just slipped my mind too
Totally
much.
exempt from the rules.
yeah.
So how many cards did everybody draw?
We don't have a deck of
37.
many
What?
things.
I left Brando in charge. I fully expected to come back to that going off.
Brando just
37.
manifested it
We should do it just for fun.
All right.
just to see what happens. We all die.
Everybody's brains explode.
All right, carry on. I already ended one campaign that way. I'm not doing it again.
I mean, I guess it's good to have somebody who can do something here. I mean, I guess, you know, it's not a lot of people that could stop me from doing things here, just not magical things.
Yeah.
So you all, a little bit lagging behind, follow into the great room. And when I say a great room, this is a great room. This room has 3 or 4 fireplaces. The walls are intricately carved stonework. There's like a single coffee table with chairs around it in the center. Like, this is far too much of a room for the very small amount of furniture in the center of it. And for Newson and Lulin, and I'd argue even Lyra, Karak, you'd be kind of used to this because of where you're from.
Mhm.
But Lyra's lifestyle in Stipvale to Newson and Lulin was kind of upper, like, more extravagant than they were used to. This is opulent to the point of excess. The ceiling of this room is a vaulted ceiling at around 30 feet. And there are doors coming out of every wall. Like, this was built to be, look at how big my stuff is. You could fit Newson's entire house in this room.
Probably.
Which isn't saying a lot, because it's a one-bedroom house.
Yeah.
But you could fit a lot of Lulin's house in this room.
Yeah.
And as you enter, Elliot, you're watching your uncle kind of fidget over tea that is clearly not made, as he's just muttering to himself, I told the servants, and you just hear a very familiar voice. I told you once, I'll tell you again, old man. We're not servants. As Ephraim and Sumter come walking out of the next room. Or as he calls them, Fry and Hamster.
Mm-hmm. Fry and Hamster.
Well, anyways, we can get this tea going as he takes his fingers and he, like, snaps them as a flame appears and he begins to heat the kettle he's holding in his hand. Now, you said something about sentient crabs, Newton. I'm very interested in that. Please tell me more. Come, have a seat. I'll have... As he kind of looks at the chairs, he goes... Well,
It's okay, I'll stand.
No. We can handle this, you know? I do have a little bit of the sorceress bloodline in me myself. As he snaps his fingers again, and two of the chairs enlarge, as he very clearly just twinned a spell. Do sit. What kind of tea are you particularly in the mood for? Elliot, my dear boy, Lyra. Lyra, if I remember correctly, you were fond of the lavender tea to boot, yes?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Fantastic, I'll get one of those made up for you. Now I haven't met you yet, he says as he turns to Karak. But before you tell me your name, you can learn a lot about a man by the kind of tea he partakes in. Any preferences?
Well, I'm not exactly from around here, so I'm not sure what exactly the selection is, but I'm open to trying new things if you have any recommendations.
Well, luckily your preferences are not relegated by the selection. And I cannot give you something that I cannot recommend something to someone if I do not know what they wish to partake in.
If you have anything with a mint of sort. Something...
Mint tea is quite easy, my friend. Let me guess, cool personality, optimistic outlook on the world, but prone to fits of anxiety?
No comment.
Right on the nail then.
What do you say about me?
Well, we have a rare white mint tea from Zoit. I think you'll find it's quite exquisite.
Wonderful. I've never been to Zoit.
And you won't.
Yes, not under the current circumstances, of course.
Nobody goes there.
Well, plenty of people do go there. I mean, the Church of the World Tree is the #1 religion within Zrea.
Nuzin rolls her eyes. She has a particularly... I think since they stepped foot into Zarea, and people started immediately, giving them a wide berth, she has a particularly surly, closed-off vibe to her.
Nuzin, you hurt me. I know that you may not like the rest of these pointy-eared people, but I thought we were friends. We've shared tea around a fire together. Over the corpse of my slain brother, if you'd remember correctly.
Yeah. I recall that being quite beneficial for you.
Well, he was an asshole.
And it almost killed 2 of us.
Yes, well, you were going to fight either way. It's just a happy happenstance that you killed him. But come now, I'm not going to hold a grudge. I seek no sort of blood payment. The least we can do is be cordial with each other.
And Newton doesn't have any brothers, so.
That is true. I have 0 siblings for you to take it out on, so.
And I wouldn't if I could, Newton. You know what will change your mind? We have some fantastic ginger snaps from a little bakery down the road.
Sure, why not?
Hamster, ginger snaps? I'm not a servant, old man! Can you get them anyways? Fine. As Ephraim just turns around and walks out of the room. Sumter's just still standing there with a look on his face, just as you just hear him mutter under his breath, I thought I was hamster.
You know, I was wondering the same thing.
Anyways, come, sit. Tell me about your tales in the last year. You've been gone for quite some time. Many assumed you were dead, but...
Hey, we assumed it. I did die.
Oh?
But he got better.
He did get better.
Well, clearly. Did he get taller as well? Is he kind of he's stroking his mustache, playing with the waxed curl of his mustache as he adjusts the monocle and looks at Elliot again.
Oh, you didn't know. I didn't. I mean, I don't want to be the one to tell you, but I think you're getting shorter.
How dare you? I am only 350 years old. I am still a young man in my prime by every definition. Everybody with knowledge of elves in the room knows that that is a blatant lie.
Yep.
Karak sitting
I don't
here
think
like
Newsom would know that, but Sky does.
Karak internally just being like 300 years. I was still in the rock then.
True, Karak is like, that's young.
Yes, what? Sit,
I was
sit.
20 when I was 300 years old.
Sit, have some tea. Have some tea as Ephraim walks back in and he just puts like an entire plate of cookies on the table. Have some cookies, some tea. Relax, unwind. After all, it's not like any of us have anywhere to be.
Well, we need to go to a pood.
Oh, and what is there?
Some magical items that the guy who's trying to destroy the world wants.
Yeah.
The who now?
You know, the dude who, like, we assume he released the plague, right? Like, he definitely did that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So the guy who released the plague, the guy who, like, killed a bunch of people, the guy who's probably going to kill our friends. That's not quite nailed down yet. You know, the guy.
God.
Yes, but there is an important thing there. I quite like the world. If we could circle back to them ending it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, we're trying to avoid
We're
that.
working on that.
Like, but it's sort of a process. Like, you don't just go and kill the god of hope. You know? There's sort of a build-up
Oh, they're a god.
Mm-hmm.
of hope.
Yeah.
And is this how you got
Seems-
better?
Not good.
No. Well,
No.
Well,
Sort of a prejudice. One of the other gods doesn't like him, and that's part of the reason.
He's complete. Him, Ephraim, and Sumter are just like stunned silence right now. Like
If it makes
they
you-
can't tell if you are fucking with them.
that god usually hangs out with me, but
It's true.
I don't think he's around right now.
Just wait till you learn about all the other gods.
If it makes you feel any better, we already killed one.
True.
He
Oh,
kind of sucked, though.
I think they were in a different pantheon.
Well,
Like,
still a
they're not
god.
on-
Still dead.
You know, not wrong. Not wrong.
We got one god down. He was a dick. God of
He
fire
really
or
was.
something.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
they were
wasn't.
issues.
He wasn't perpetual.
my dear friend, my dear Furbolg, I am a purveyor of history and culture. I am familiar with more pantheons than just my own, I promise you.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah, but you didn't, like, talk to them. This guy did.
Oh, well, you know, and Lyra can back me up on this. I'm not quite sure Elliot can based on his studies, but we do put heavy value on primary sources.
What do you mean
You know
primary?
Sass.
and Karak was like in a stasis stone for a long time. So there's even like a historical aspect to the primary source, I will say.
We are still debating on how much I know and I don't know, though.
But you could know it all.
That's true.
Yes, that's still up in the air. Well, actually, it's on
Yeah,
my
but
hip.
no one likes to know it all.
It'd be dangerous. It would be dangerous
Well, I
if it was
quite
up in the air.
Elliot, my boy, I quite like a know-it-all. After all, there is a reason you are my favorite nephew.
Excuse me?
Oh, that's
Using
so
like
sweet.
audibly snorts.
One
Half
chance
the other ones are dead. Didn't have that many to pick from.
well, your other brother's prestigiously leading the city, and you've returned from the dead. One shan't throw stones in a glass house, my boy.
True. Honestly, I think not dead is much better than leading city.
Yes, but he is also not dead, and becoming a fully realized dragon.
Yeah, but he never re-dead.
Why would you even have a glass house?
So you can see out
Then
all the
everyone can
windows
see
to
you.
know when the mob's coming.
But then everybody could see it.
The mob,
you
I thought
like
you
that
decided
kind
not
of
to do
thing.
that.
Well, you fund one too many academic papers for the wrong person, and suddenly there's a mob of angry academics outside your house. Not that many of them have much strength, per se, but they'll ramble you to death, I promise.
They all bring their own soapbox to stand on.
Yes, some of them bring several that ends up in a large stacking competition. People fall, there's liability. It's a very big problem.
They will throw stones, but just little ones.
It's more like a tapping on your window. Constant tapping.
Yes. Like rain on a tin roof, one could say.
Let's see, now that's a better
Anyways,
building
Or
material.
in a glass house.
Tin is a terrible building material.
The
Mark.
tin is
Better
horrible.
than glass for a whole house.
Yes, but tin dents and folds. Glass just shattered.
Yes, and then you don't have walls.
Yes,
At
but-
least with the dent, you can get it out.
But
Yeah,
a
but
glass
at least-
house will not collapse under its own weight. A tin house would.
Yeah, but like, even that extreme pressure, glass is very durable.
I feel
So
like
be
we're
it.
a little off topic.
I think we
Yes,
are too.
where were we? What's our topic?
I don't remember.
We were talking about Elliot dying and coming back to life, and us killing the god of hope because he's trying to destroy the world.
Ah,
Yes.
yes. And you were going to a pood.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Tell me more about that.
Well, there's some magical items around the realm. He's collecting them so that he can use their power to destroy the world. We're collecting them so he can't do that.
Yep.
It's just that. That's the only reason we're going to a pood.
Items of great power, you say?
Yes.
Give me one moment. I think I actually have something on this. I was talking to your friend. Oh, what was his name? Started with an F. Falling over? As he like
Falling
stands up and
over?
he's like walking out of the room. He's like, no, it wasn't that.
How
Young
has
bloke,
your-
white hair. As he like walks out of the room.
I feel
How
like I know
has-
who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
How has your uncle
like,
made it this
follow
far
him?
as an aristocrat with the complete inability to remember anybody's name? Don't people like
Mm,
He's
I-
not-
I can speak to that.
doesn't it like offend people when you don't know their name?
Elliot,
You can get
roll
really far without calling people by
he's
their
also,
name.
Elliot, roll history. Actually, if you want to, if you've known him, so I would say Lyra or Elliot can roll history. Everybody, or they can roll insight, but everybody else can roll insight.
Falling over. I think that's just his
Just-
name. I mean,
I mean, you can get really far without like if you are confident enough, you can get in so many different places.
yep, falling over is definitely his name. Well, go off, Karaka. Get your nat 20.
Off.
Karak and Elliot. Elliot because you remember, Karak because you realize it on the way he's talking. The simpleton who forgets things is a very well curated persona.
Clever.
As
Well, I mean, if this adventuring thing doesn't work out, I might actually have a good backup plan.
as he walks out of the room, you just kind of from the side just. So you're not
Oh.
dead.
Yep.
We are not. Yeah, that's
What
the
about
thing
you
that we
guys?
are not.
You guys still a little like evil, a little good, depending on the day.
Kind of.
Oh,
I didn't know that was a thing you could like not be.
Well, it got interesting for a while.
Like one of you just stayed evil and one of you stayed good.
No, like I was accompanying, and this is Ephraim talking, the taller one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was accompanying the Thought Weaver back to her home, and as I'm sure you're well aware, when we're apart, it takes longer for us to switch back and forth. The evil was with Sumter, and he caught the spell plague.
Okay, that's not great.
So
It seems that I have been rendered good, and he has been rendered human yet again.
So it seems like an ultimate win then.
yeah,
Not a bad one.
I mean the evil's just gone, so
Yes, gone, absorbed, wherever the magic that the Arcanophage takes goes, I'm sure.
yeah, I guess that's fair.
But regardless of the fact, we came here shortly thereafter because neither of us wanted to figure out what would happen if the good went away as well.
I mean,
Yeah.
presumably you'd just be human as well?
Yes, but we've seen what happens to members of our family when they presume things.
Fair. Assumptions are risky.
Yes, we all saw what happened to our cousin when he presumed that the gods would give him a fair deal. Or when we presumed that things won't explode.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a whole number of things, but
And Lyra, you can kind of pick up, even without an insight roll, that was not meant as an insult.
Mm.
It's just kind of like, could have bad consequences.
Yeah.
what is life without assumptions, really?
You know what they say.
No, I don't. Could you fill me in?
Yeah, if you
Yeah.
trust an elf, you're fine. If you trust a... Wait, never mind. I can't finish this story.
You were saying about
trust.
trusting. You were saying about
actually
trusting an
sure.
elf, my dear boy, as your uncle comes back into the room carrying a very large tome.
This is a tome we've seen before in the hedge, yes?
No,
Oh,
this is a tome that you have never seen before.
a bummer. I was hoping for a callback.
No.
No callbacks.
Nothing quite
None.
that easy.
So you just got a giant book of magical things there?
Yeah. If you consider numbers magical,
One person here does.
well then I
They
suppose it's the most
are.
magical book you've ever seen.
Wow.
Oh no, I've seen some magical books.
Business records.
What? Excuse me?
Oh.
Yes. Business records seized from the Zrayan Thieves Guild about 8 months ago. Something of interest. What was his name? Fall no more? What was his name?
Eldamar?
Femtoman Frumpkin?
That's the one! He gave me a list of items to look into. As he kind of like sits down, he sets this book on the table. It's very clear this thing has not been opened in months. Like he sets it down, and dust comes out from between the pages of parchment.
Oh, wow.
As he taps it, and there's 2 more puffs of dust. I believe I found one of them.
Okay.
Oh.
Elaborate.
Well,
Please tell me it's on this plane. I'm so sick of having to travel to other planes for things.
Oh, my dear boy, I can do you so much better. From what I believe I've found, I believe it is somewhere within the city.
The city?
Oh, wow.
This city.
Nice.
And which thing might that be?
Well, from what the records indicate, and they're thieves' records, so I myself am barely versed in the cant, unless any of you can read it better. He says kind of hopefully to you.
I bet that would have been a nom thing, but
I don't think so.
No, I tried to have him read it. He couldn't
Oh.
make heads or tails of it.
it seems like a thing he'd know how to read.
Can he read?
Well, I feel like that's more of like a, not a raging thing.
Yeah, but like, even a ranger could know how to speak to thieves.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But what I was able to make out was a very, very hefty transaction. Somewhere in the realm of 1.5 million gold.
Whoa.
Jeez.
Which, obviously, struck me as odd, considering that they said that it was being paid in service of retrieving a lantern.
Ugh.
Yeah. That's one of the, how we were talking about, like, the magic items that the god really wants to destroy the world?
Yes, Fall No More
That's-
filled me in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Briefly on magic items you were looking for. I did not know they were related to a god.
Well, I mean, like, they aren't originally, but they're definitely, he wants them, so.
We can't have that.
Yes.
A lot of the gods seem to want them.
Well, then I would assume that these people were vastly underpaid for their efforts.
Yes. Most
More than
definitely.
likely. Probably didn't even know what they had.
They knew they had a lantern. It's right there in the book.
Well, yeah, they knew that. They didn't know.
They knew it was a pretty damn good lantern, too.
They probably didn't know exactly.
No, it
What
does seem that one
lantern?
of the words here says broken lantern.
That's fine.
That's fine.
We fix all sorts of things. Don't even worry.
They retrieved it and broke it.
Yes. Well, I can't tell you much about it, but well, as you
tell us
as you and
about
I
fire?
both as you and I both know, my dear boy, there are very few people within the city who could afford that kind of sum.
Yes. And
Unfortunately,
you checked with my brother.
I can assure you it was not him. I've been in charge of the family's finances for far longer, and I can assure you your father would not give gold to a single person for any reason.
Yep. Yeah, that's fair.
But, bringing it to your attention, should you choose that it is something worth investigating, but if you need to get to a pood, I mean, I can try and decipher more of the script, but I really can't promise anything. More tea. As he, like, reaches... Who's drank their tea?
I have.
Elliot.
Lovely.
He doesn't really wait for an answer. He just kind of pours more tea for everyone who's drank theirs.
Lulu's not been offered tea.
What a lovely host.
Lulin was offered tea. Everyone was offered tea.
Yeah, but everybody was offered specific tea.
Yeah, I don't think
Technically,
either of us-
Newson was offered cookies.
Yes.
But I do hope that's helpful. You know, that is all I try to be. I have been forgetting things, obviously, since the explosion.
Okay, cool. So, go find the richest person in town. See if we can borrow the lantern.
Forever.
Forever. Well, technically, I don't need the lantern. I think I could just borrow the magical essence of the lantern and
Oh,
leave the
wait.
lantern.
To do that?
Not
I mean,
yet.
To be fair, we've seen crazier things be pulled out of magical artifacts in the past.
All
2
I'm
weeks.
saying is the last time you barehanded one of these things, you died.
But then I
so-
undied, and look, I can hold it just fine.
I don't think you're gonna get another chance like that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems kind of dangerous.
All right,
I mean,
fine.
I was
Yes,
more making reference to Lulin's hammer, but okay.
I'm hesitant to agree with you, my dear boy. I do believe your friends are right, in which dying is not one of those things where practice makes perfect, more practice makes permanent.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds right.
Well, I just won't die again. That seems not that hard. I've already avoided it twice.
It's not every day someone gets a second chance. I wouldn't risk it personally.
It's not even every century.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's happened to me twice this century, so
And it sounds like you're due for a loss.
it sounds like I'm unkillable.
I can assure you, my dear boy, nobody and nothing is unkillable. Your
Exactly.
father thought the same.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, that's fair. We'll have to figure that one out. But while we're in town, we actually have a second piece of business. Sort of getting to. We'll talk about borrowing the lantern later. We also need to there's an alchemist out of Apud.
Oh,
Because he's not technically out of Apud. He was out of Apud. Him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that you
forgetting
said
names
that like
too?
you didn't know who he was.
Are you forgetting names too?
So
what I wouldn't
he's
give
making
to
a
forget
cure.
that wretched squall of a man.
Damn.
He's not Squall. Squall's down south, I think. Fighting for the water people?
We should fight her.
Okay, calm down, Lyra. We will.
We will.
Okay, yeah. All in good time. Sorry.
Just work our way down the
we have-
coast.
We can go there after a Apud, or
How many manatees
see.
do you think we'll see if we go down the coast?
None, my dear boy. To go
They're all
down the
north.
coast, you would arrive at Zarea.
Ah,
Should you go up the cove, perhaps, you would see many more.
But anyways. He's working on a cure. He has the recipe, but he's missing some ingredients from his realm. We may or may not have sailing instructions to get there.
yeah, the beans.
Yeah, right
Yeah.
to the beans.
Right to the beans. Yeah,
Right
he used to live in the
handful of
beans.
beans.
Straight to the beans.
And who will you be sailing with?
Oh, I mean, we know people.
I presume you mean the crew of the Steady Grip.
Probably, yeah.
Well, I hate to be the one to inform you. So, Hamster, you do it. As Sumter just kind of looks at him, and you watch him, like, visibly roll his eyes. For half a
Just both
second,
Hamster?
the look on his face, you know, the evil might still be there.
Mm-hmm.
The Steady Grip set sail for Abila 2 days ago.
We did do that, didn't we? I mean, like, we can kind of get to them whenever, so.
Well,
Should we call her and tell her to not go that way now that the magic plague is there?
does that mean that you know where she is?
Well, she was on her way to Abila.
How long ago?
You just said 2 days ago.
I said the Steady Grip was. Nobody's seen Valiant die in over a week.
Well, that can't be right because Elliot messaged her
Hearing and seeing are different
yesterday,
things.
and she responded.
You're positive.
Yes. The second time she didn't respond, but the first time she did, and she said she was gonna head to the place.
Yeah.
Then who knows? But her crew didn't know where she was.
That seems
Problematic?
Again right now.
We agree.
yeah. That seems impossible. Like, I think we should message her right now.
Yeah.
On the statement of impossible, Angel died and came back, killed a god, stuck in a stone for 1,000 years. Nobody's that handsome. has every book in the universe.
Wait, I thought you were pointing at me. I did the death blow on God, I'll say.
Okay. Did the death blow
No.
on God
Which one was
absorb the
me?
dragon
Yeah,
soul?
wait.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
but I
okay,
lost
yeah.
that.
Well, no offense to any of you. Can you blame me for assuming that Nuzin killed the god?
And we really, I mean,
Sure.
Newsom was up in their face the whole time, so
Nobody.
got-
I mean,
Nobody.
they got markings on their
Nobody-
tattoos specifically for this.
I was more making sure he didn't hit anybody else, to be
Nobody
honest.
else is belligerent enough to decide that seeing still does not count as believing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, even though I got the last hit in, I was in a supporting role, I will say.
No, you did great.
Having
Also,
said
I
that,
got-
we are standing in a room of impossible people. And your uncle.
Also, I gotta ask, has Karak ever seen like a full-size pirate ship? Because his realm was full of rivers and stuff.
You've
and
never
not-
you've never seen anything bigger than probably like a long canoe.
I mean, like, how many people would you need to run a ship? It's like it's not that wide, right?
Couple dozen.
Yeah, who is
Well,
this guy?
At the
No way.
smallest.
He's
Couple
kind of.
At the smallest.
Yeah, I mean, she could definitely have more than that on there. It's just that she's pretty particular with who she keeps on the ship.
I know. She kicked both of us off.
How?
I was probably like a breath away from being thrown overboard. I think the only reason that she didn't is because Lulin likes me.
How
I was
big?
threatened a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a good time. And I think Lyra is turning towards Elliot's uncle and say, you're impossible just in a different way.
Impossible to read.
Because I'm this exceptionally vibrant at 350, I understand.
Yeah.
I'm still
It's
still
all-
trying to imagine how big that like canoe would have to be. It's
Lyra,
like,
News and like
he kind of leans over
Pulls
to you.
out a
It's
pencil.
all in the skincare routine. I'll get you mine.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
News and like pulls out a pencil and like takes like a napkin and draws like a very like the kind of like approximation of like a proper like large sailing ship.
Elliot's uncle has a look of absolute horror on his face.
She's not even paying attention. Yeah. She's like, so this is like,
These napkins
and
are imported silk. They're older than my grandfather.
usually this
She's
is
just
like,
using them like a
you know,
how was your
children's sketchbook.
grandfather? Roxas wants to know how old people were.
If he was still alive today, he'd be a brisk 900.
Rock, mental note, still older.
Karak could be your grandfather.
Perhaps Nuzin,
No.
Perhaps Nuzin, can I get you some? Anything. Perhaps paper. I'd almost. I'd almost prefer you draw on the table.
Newson, I did just get a sketchbook recently.
Yeah, but your sketchbook is special. I don't need to draw in that. I mean, that's what napkins are for. Wiping your mouth and doing a quick drawing on.
Besides, you're a wizard. Why don't you just press the digit clean as like Luna like blows his nose?
I thought you were calling me. I thought you were calling me a wizard for a second. I don't have that kind of no.
I mean, I could actually prestidigitate it clean if it wasn't,
Eowyn, this is what you get for putting out the fine china for guests.
Oh yeah, sorry for us Minotaurs being so barbaric.
No, not you. Look at what Elliot's doing with his napkin. He has it all tucked into his shirt.
He's creasing it.
Gosh. I mean, I know that we come from very different cultures, and I don't mean this in a disparaging way, but I know that Lyra, at least, surely your mother had a set of towels that were only for looking at and not for use.
Yeah, she did not let me touch them, certainly. Lyra has hers, like, tucked into her, like, the front of her shirt, like like a baby.
A proper bib.
I think there's a...
Karak is drawing his approximation of Newson's approximation of a ship.
Yeah.
She's like, how?
It's like it's more like, you know, it's like an almond on the top, but like square at the back, and then in the back is usually where the captain's area is, and then there's a whole bunch of layers underneath where like the crew lives, and you have like a kitchen and a whole bunch of other stuff like that, and then there's like yeah, they have weapons on them. They need like multiple sails.
That's like a whole keep.
Yeah, I mean, basically, it's a keep that floats on the water. Yeah, and then you also have to have enough stuff because usually ships like this transport cargo. That's like what she would do is she would trade with other cities and bring stuff back to the Minotaur cities to like be distributed.
Yes, or more recently, bringing things to us as relief supplies.
Yeah.
That is.
You know, maybe somebody in this city didn't like that you guys had to depend on Minotaurs, and they did something to her.
That would be a good time to hear what it means when you assume, because no one's explained that to me yet.
Oh, it makes an ass out of you and me.
That's clever.
Thank you. I did not come up with it.
Aw.
Anyways,
Oh,
we were talking.
Anyway.
We were not talking about assumption. We were talking about presumption.
Oh, would that make a priz out of you and me?
No.
How dare you call me a pris?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
Should give him a hug instead.
Rock just opens his arms out, just like.
Since he is. You know, I would gladly accept a hug from him, since he's the only one at this table showing any sort of decorum with the family napkins.
Rock hasn't even touched the napkins. Just like...
The fact that you all have family napkins is like, I don't even...
Well, you have family weapons, do you not?
Yeah.
Technically, my family had both.
Yes. Well, most elves fight with their words, not their swords. That's why we lost the war.
Also, I don't have any
doing
family
their best
napkins.
not to stifle a laugh right now.
You have... I suppose you can have half of a family napkin.
Half? All right. Mm-hmm.
You can have the family napkins in my heart, dear boy.
Jeez.
Thanks. Good enough for me. I don't actually want them, so... All the honor with none of the, what's the word? Oh yeah, obligation.
Yes, speaking of...
where were we?
Have you considered your brother's offer?
Oh, well... It's been like a year, you know, and,
Yes, I believe he would be looking for an answer by now.
So that's the funny thing, is, yeah, it's funny.
Well, you know, given your unique parentage, should you decide to take it, we should begin looking soon. You're not getting any younger, and you could gain quite a bit of power through marriage.
Yeah,
Then like raises her eyebrows.
We'll have to get back to that. You said you hate Malcolm. Malcolm? Malum. You happen to know where he is?
Oh, somewhere with... I believe last I heard he was somewhere with House Miralith.
All right, well, at some point we probably had to get in contact with him. What's the general consensus as far as using magic in the city?
Well, as long as you're within the city walls, you should be fine.
All right. Cool. Kind of what I thought.
After all, you didn't seem to particularly care when you used it willy-nilly within my walls.
Well, I mean, just checking.
Yes. Well. What were we talking about?
Our
Not
plan
my
moving forward, I
lineage.
believe. Malum.
Malum, yes. And also figuring out who to steal from. But by my count, there's, 3, 4 families wealthy enough to have such an item? Or have some of them been assassinated by now?
No,
Surely
no.
some of them have been assassinated.
We haven't had an assassination since the war.
Oh, perfect. Well, mostly.
Ah, they had other people to kill. Why kill each other?
Yes, but... No, I mean, I suppose all 10 of the families could have afforded such an artifact. It's simply a question of who would want it.
Any idea what the artifact does at all, or...
Anybody
yes.
particularly
From everything
into
I have
lamps?
deciphered thus far, it is a broken lantern.
Classic.
Yes. I truly know not where to begin your search.
That's all right.
Unless you
I
happen to, I mean, I know you got up to some minor shenanigans back in your day. Did you ever cavort with any thieves?
I plead the fifth.
Yes, Leroy. I believe you had your hand raised.
Oh yeah, I mean, his answer should be yes, because I mean, yeah, me and a couple other people. Remember, we brought it up earlier today.
Yes.
In this very conversation.
You're very good at the breaking and entering, but not so much at the thieving.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
Very good. I'm glad we're all caught up.
So you said you've had dealings with Black Jinn before, right?
I did, yes.
How reliable is the information that you get from them?
Well, they do have to honor whatever your bargain was.
Okay.
Wait, you bargained with that thing?
It asked me what I wanted, and I asked for information, and I got it.
You're alive?
Yes, well, information is typically the safest thing to ask for. There are very few ways that information can kill you. Unless the wrong people find out you have it, of course, but it sounds like you're already fighting the person who would care the most.
Yeah. And the thing that we're after is, like, to deal with him. Or that I'm after, I guess.
Yes.
Part of the reason why we gotta go to a pood at some point.
Elliot sort of, like, from behind his uncle, makes this, like, face at Newson. Like, sort of the like, are you sure?
To...
They're, like, talking about this.
She didn't say anything else. She'd already mentioned the Jinn, so...
Can you actually tell me more about the Jinn?
Me? Or him?
Yeah. In general.
I mean, there wasn't a lot to it. I cast a spell, it showed up, it was like, what do you want? And I was like, I need... Well, actually, it took me a long time to decide what I wanted, because, like, you know, I was like, we could just be like, hey, will you, like, just take care of this guy? But then I was like, that seems like it would really have bad consequences. So we kind of dialed it back and then asked for information.
Especially if you worded it that way. Imagine we just show up and they're just taking care of them.
Yes, that could be an assassination or a happy ending. There's really no in between.
Depends on the day.
What does this have to do with writing?
Oh, my dear boy.
What else did the Jinn want, if they wanted anything else?
They didn't ask me for anything.
So they just wanted you to off some guy?
No. It didn't ask me for anything. It asked me what I wanted, and I made a request. It didn't ask me to do anything or give it anything or for any exchange at all. As far as I'm aware. It was like, you summoned me, tell me what you want. And I was like, I need information. And it said, okay. And it gave me a scroll.
And that was me, Brando, mishearing. That was my bad.
It's fine.
Well, it seems that you set your sights a modicum higher than I did in the same circumstances.
Oh?
I asked for a teapot that never ran out of boiling water.
That's useful.
That's great.
Yes, it constantly refills, and if I'm not constantly pouring tea, it will overflow and flood the house, and inevitably, I would presume.
Oh.
Huh.
Well, that's not great.
Luckily for me, I'm quite a fan of tea.
I mean, it seems like that would be really beneficial in a desert.
Mm-hmm.
Hot
The water
water
would eventually
in the
cool.
desert.
I
Water
mean,
would
any
eventually
water in
cool.
the desert is better than no water.
Your friend does make a marvelous point.
True. So, thanks for the hospitality.
Leaving so soon. I haven't even presented you with the list of potential suitors I think would fit for you yet.
Well, we gotta go, like, investigate this whole magic item thing real quick. I'm sure I'll be right back to look
I
at
don't
that
know.
list.
Maybe we have a minute
What?
if you
Yeah.
want.
I don't. Are you a minute?
Everybody.
Number 9's the charm?
Everybody.
Number 9's the charm.
Lulin, like,
Elliot will have all the time in the world to choose a suitor after we save the world.
He's
Well,
not
you
getting
know,
any younger, and
there's no time like the present.
And the world isn't getting any more safe without us acting.
Plus, what if there's one you really like, and then they die in the middle of it? You know, at least then there would be somebody specific to keep in mind to protect, rather than just like the
What?
ambiguous. You know.
What?
You know, you make a good point.
No, they don't.
Listen.
I don't know. Just maybe.
my advice, Elliot, marry somebody that'll kick your ass.
Oh, I can assure you, I've already ruled out all the ones he's had dalliances with in the past.
I mean, that doesn't mean they can't kick his ass in the future.
They just haven't done it yet.
Yes, but the only ones who would really want to are the ones who would do so on sight.
True.
There aren't many half-elves who can say they left the trail of broken hearts that my dear boy did.
Well, you know, half bastard, they say.
And a broken china.
Okay. For the record, why?
He pulls out the notepad and goes, yes, for the record.
This isn't my fault. Okay? Is it because my brother learned mending before I did?
I say roll out the list. We've got a couple minutes. You know what? You got any like magic items that could cast sending? Then Elliot can give his full attention to the list, and we
While
can
we're
call
on the
Valiant
road.
Eye.
Man, if I could unknow sending, I would, Newsen. Let me be clear. I'm sick of being the middleman in this guy's romantic entanglements, okay?
Look, if I could learn it, I would. Then we wouldn't have to put you in the middle of it.
Well, maybe you should study harder. And Lyra, what about you? What's your excuse?
You know,
Go on, get out your pen. Start writing.
Okay.
Start.
To be fair, Elliot, I did ask you to teach me Elven.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a lesson, and then I don't know what happened next, quite frankly.
That seems to be how that seems to be how this group ends up. Just we plan stuff and then we don't know what happens, and suddenly we're in the middle of a keep surrounded by the ashes of a now dead god.
Yeah.
Hell of a week. Hell of a week.
It has been a hell of a week.
Mm-hmm.
I found the last week to be quite unremarkable, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's because you didn't kill a god.
No, I took on the much harder task of finding somebody who would like you.
Just the accent. I thought you said the hotter task, and I was like, what?
We killed a god of fire, but that's the worst burn I've seen.
Now, on with the list. As he pulls out a scroll and just whips it out.
Lulu gets off of the chair, sits on the floor, has a couple of cookies in one hand and some tea in the other hand. Just giddy.
Yes, the first one, which could be especially beneficial if you are looking to sail to. Where did you say?
We don't have a name for it yet. We were calling it the
It's
Beans.
Beantown.
Beans.
Actually, we have a map. Should we show them the
No,
map?
we don't have a map. It's on a different plane.
Oh, right. Darn it.
Well then.
I know, right? It's a very complicated circumstance, I'm not gonna lie.
So I had an idea, and I think Lulu would also have a rather similar idea. Could I roll something to try and make a map of the root system and try and pinpoint where that tree is, since Lulu planted it?
We do actually
it's
have
not
a map.
Bean World where we need to go. It's the Beans, which is the islands.
On the map, it would be Nuatia, but we don't know that it's called that.
Yeah. We just called it the Beans, along with
Because
Weird
it
Goose,
looks-
Bean World, and Burnt Croissant.
Yep.
Can I do that at religion at disadvantage?
Sure.
13.
Can't really draw a map of it.
Yeah.
Yes, well. Let's see. What could I do? Unfortunately, I do not believe that anybody from House Miralith is available. Or we could try and set you up there. You could use your potential suitor to try and find Malum.
Yeah.
That seems like a good idea. Easy way in, honestly.
Yes,
I mean, it's the perfect excuse to be there.
Yeah, I know. Anyways.
yes,
Got it.
well. Unfortunately, the only eligible bachelorette for dear Elliot there would be the Lady Aaron, and she is spoken for.
Well, then she wouldn't be an eligible bachelorette, would she?
She never stopped my dear boy.
He's not
before.
married yet.
Wow, all right.
Well, okay.
I
Forward.
feel like this is the reason you have 8 exes.
Soon to
Yeah,
be
well,
9.
that you know about.
You only told them you had 8.
We
It was
only
when-
talk about the appooed exes.
You have
Numbers.
city-based exes? Dear God.
Well, while I was there under the name Elliot, I suppose is another clarification.
Ah, yes, we will have to. Well, I suppose should you accept your brother's request, we won't actually have to pitch you as, well, Arendelle. we could use the name Elliot. You would be of noble stature, by name, if not by blood.
True.
You would have to accept your brother's request first. I don't think any of the noble families would allow somebody to marry a bastard.
Of course not. They would, that would be unfortunate.
Frowned upon, certainly.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. So, Miralith. Not many options there.
No, almost none.
Trevor?
Do you mean Tavernar?
That's what I said. I've heard it both ways, by the way. I assume they're still just about the wealthiest people.
Well, recently their wealth has been in decline, given the state of the city. Not much trade going on with the siege at our walls.
That's fair. That's fair.
But Mirella is looking, well, Mirella's father is looking for a suitor for her hand.
Well, that's more awkward.
Yes, well, I can assure you that she seems more than happy to accept. You know, she's also not getting any younger. She's already in her mid-200s.
200? Bruh.
Yes, well, beggars can't be choosers, my dear boy.
Who said I was begging?
If you are going to attempt to follow up on this, I can assure you that begging is one of your better options. Unless you've come into some
guys,
sort of obscene
I think it's about
wealth.
time we head out.
I think that's fair.
Leaving so soon? Well,
yes.
I shall have the actual servants prepare rooms for you. You are more than welcome to stay with me during your time in the city.
Well,
That sounds fantastic.
Well, unless there's somewhere else you'd rather be?
Nope, a room here is fantastic.
No?
As long as it has exactly a bed, a cabinet, and no other people in there.
No, not a certain half-elf bard you're willing to go see?
No.
Elenia has been asking after you, my boy.
She has?
Newsom just
Perhaps.
leans forward with like
Lulu sips tea.
Rock having another name in his head that has no face and no context.
What's she been asking?
Mostly if you've pulled your head out of your ass yet.
I have.
Well, I suppose if anybody was going to find her in the city, it would be you. But
well,
just
we'll
a
see about
dalliance,
that.
just a dalliance, my boy. If you're going to be a true noble, you have to secure some sort of fortune. Lands, perhaps.
Land would be nice.
I mean,
Um,
of course, when I die, I'll bequeath you mine, but there are hundreds of years until that happens yet. You might not still be around. Unless you continue your brushes with death and inevitable coming back.
we'll see how that goes. I mean, not dead is pretty good for dying twice, quite frankly.
Yes, well. I don't quite know what to say to that. But
Well.
enjoy the city, do take your friends, show them some of the sights. The Golden Market is still booming.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah. I assume all the houses are about all the major families still the same areas of the city.
Of course.
That's what I thought.
Of course. And if you would prefer to, well, see your options all at once, there is a ball this evening.
Yeah, I've never been good at those.
No, but you and your friends could be my honored guests.
very much like to see that.
No, you wouldn't.
Then I shall make the
Susan,
arrangements,
Susan,
Susan.
do you want to go to
Damn
the
it.
with me?
Yes. Absolutely.
You all go out, enjoy the city, enjoy your day. Let's say, well, as he like pulls out a bag and starts like pulling coins out. Do you believe that 200 platinum is enough to get you all outfits?
Yeah.
Of course,
Okay.
I will need change and receipts. Of course, the tax ministry has been all over me lately. You can only call so many artifacts priceless before they decide they need to start putting a price on things.
I might need some help
also-
choosing an outfit, but hopefully that's enough. I trust them to know.
Return to the house around, let's say 6:30. We'll eat a light dinner to pat ourselves against the alcohol before we head out.
Yeah, it's gonna take more than that, but sounds good.
Yes, well, we don't want to pad it too much. Some of us would still like to lose our faculties this evening.
All right, everybody, let's go towards the door. As Elliot is like just ushering everybody out the door.
And
like
Thank you
hurting
thank you
us.
so much for your hospitality.
oh, of course, a friend of Elliot is a friend of mine. As-
Grog's just gonna follow.
Elliot's gonna sort of push everyone out the door and sort of shut it in front of him for a second as he turns to talk to his uncle.
Damn.
You know,
It's
before I
rude
went
to
off
slam
to
the door
college,
on guest, my boy.
well, they're outside. Before I left,
No longer guests.
They're simply in the Great Hall. I'm sure you remember how big my abode is.
yes, we know.
You all are in a ballroom.
You can loudly hear hoof clicks on the tile.
You mentioned before I left that you might be able to track down and I always said I didn't want you to at the time, but now that my stepfather is dead, I was wondering if maybe you could track down my father.
Of course. With your stepfather dead, you will need someone to be there for you at the wedding.
Oh, of course, that.
Yes. I mean, I was hoping that you would see our relationship as sort of father and son, and perhaps I could do it. But if you truly wish me to seek out your father, I can do so for you.
Well, I want to know him for other reasons. Let's be honest. If I had a wedding, you're gonna be the.
Of course.
Yeah.
You wish to see what your lifespan looks like.
Yeah, partially.
Yes, well, it is always one's duty to make sure they will age gracefully.
Yes, that I'm gonna do my best to do that. I do appreciate it.
Of course, my dear boy.
All right. Thank you. And later.
Yes.
As Elliot sort of turns around.
And, if you need somewhere to stop and think, I hear there's someone quite lovely playing at the Wandering Wyvern.
The Wandering Wyvern. Noted. All right. Thank you. As he turns around, opens the door, and then heads on free.
All right, and before they head into the city, we are going to take our 5-minute bio break.
Let's go. This is gonna be fun.
5 to 10 minutes. So we will see everybody in a bit. Stay tuned. Check out the gift shop. Enjoy yourselves. And watch Elliot suffer when we get back.
Yay!
We'll see everyone soon.
Yeah.
Everybody's gone.
You have to. It's gonna. Oh, so
Hello.
They're back. I'm a magician.
it's amazing. It's amazing how that works.
It's
So
the New Year's miracle.
Elliot leads you all out of this very large pair of doors. Very large pair of gilded, engraved, carved doors into the city. And when you step out, the very first thing that all of you would realize, even Lyra, because I think we said that Lyra had never been to Zaraya directly, right? Is every building in this city is big. Like, much bigger than... Like, looking back at Elliot's uncle's house, you would realize that the vaulted ceiling was the first floor.
Oh my gosh.
Like,
Wow.
these are, like, monolithic buildings of extravagance.
Were you all a lot bigger in the past and then you just shrank over time?
What?
Look at how big the first floor of every single building is.
No,
Well, yeah.
they just
do
like to
you-
live in opulence.
Well, there's, I mean, like, more air. It's cleaner. I mean, it's just better.
I mean, having trees is how you get clean air, not just more ceiling.
Well, we have magical filtration for some of the larger buildings, but you have to get a quite large building for that to become a problem.
Brock is just I don't even know what this ball that we're going to is, and I don't know why we need outfits, so I'm going to put those on the pile.
Well,
what
we
is a
need
ball?
outfits.
Why are the
Well, surely you've been to a ball. The gods surely hosted dances where everyone would come and dress up and be
I
merry.
mean, there was like merriment, but you didn't really have to dress up. You just kind of like you all went
now
to the
here you
party
must dress up.
with Harmonia, right? That is their name. I'm totally remembering their name, right? Nissa.
Sure.
That's the
Harmonia.
Well,
Both
I think she was
technically correct.
Yeah, Harmonia was who she was after.
yeah. Harmonia is who Karak remembered them as.
Yeah, it's just that, but we need to dress up first.
That is such a strange custom, but I'm more than happy to engage. And Karak is just like waiting for Elliot to lead the way because he doesn't know his way around, and he's not about to just waltz off. Not in
Well, we
this
have
big place.
A couple shop options. Is everybody good? Should we just start out? We can order some clothes for the house, pick them up when we get back there.
Here's the question: Is anyone gonna be able to sell anything for us?
Well, of course,
Not
it's all
exactly-
custom tailored.
Is anyone going to be willing to?
Yeah, the question should have been: is anyone willing
Yeah,
to tailor 2 minotaurs
I should
Yeah.
have clarified.
and a furbolg?
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember, the elves have their prejudice, but there's one thing that always holds true. Platinum is platinum.
Universal language.
And if not, I'll kick some ass.
I prefer my suit not to be sewn with blood.
Yeah, if I remember right, you only wear half a suit anyways.
Okay, just because it's tailor-made doesn't fit to my muscles.
Guns out, guns out.
Newsing
All
gets
right,
it.
then.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do the math for the extra room.
Well, I mean, first things first. We got to go to Starlight Fabrics because there's other options, but let's go there. They're the best.
We're following you.
Well, yeah, and I'm leading the way.
All right.
Elliot looks around for a map.
Do you just want to roll me history?
Sure, yeah.
See if he remembers how to get there.
Skills and history. There it is.
You're pretty confident you can get there without a map.
All right. He'll lead the way.
As you are all making your way through these city streets, now that you're out of the tower itself, people don't really seem to care about you. Which you can roll perception if you want to try and figure out why.
Sure.
I will do shows. Well, I will not.
Neither will Karak.
Okay, my 7's looking pretty good compared to the 0.
We love a nat 0.
Nat 0.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Elliot, you recognize... So, Lulin, what you see as you're trying to figure out why people aren't really giving you a second glance is that a lot of people are looking your way, and then they're seeing who you're with, and they're very quickly averting their eyes. Elliot, these people are looking at you and realizing who you are and realizing who your family is and deciding it's not worth the trouble.
Nice.
As you all kind of make your way down the street. Karak, you're oblivious. These are the tallest buildings you've ever seen. How are you going to see a sunrise over one of these things?
I mean, if I can get to the top of one, it'll be one hell of a sunrise, but damn, the climb's going to be awful.
Like 2 hours early.
Newson, it's too hard to tell what people are looking at while you're side-eyeing them.
Yeah. Newson's back to being surly, crossing her arms over her chest, and like being grumpy.
Somebody roll me a d20.
Me, I'm doing
Let's
it.
No, me. All right, go ahead.
Not
Oh,
20.
that's fantastic.
Oh.
Okay, so while I do appreciate the nat 20, it was for a random roll table.
Aww.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so sad.
But
Well, it better
that
be
means there's really good luck. I
Yeah.
get to pick.
I get to pick. I get to look
Out of
into
20.
Yeah, look at all of them, and you get to.
You get to look through the table, PT, and decide which one I would like the best.
That doesn't automatically mean traumatized.
ET frantically typing.
it's Sky.
Trauma doesn't mean favorite.
I'm trying to decide if Sky would like the one that is the funniest
Mm-hmm.
or the one that would give you all the most information. So I'm gonna let Sky choose.
Big promises.
I mean, I think information would probably be the best one there, if I'm choosing.
So as you're all making your way through the streets of Zraya, Nuzin, you pick up on it first in the distance. Somebody is yelling something very loudly. And you hear kind of a clamoring of people, and you see people kind of like further down the street in what seems to be opening up on a square, which Elliot, you would recognize as the location of the Starlight Fabrics building. At least it's on this like main plaza.
Okay.
There is kind of, it seems like a large group of people kind of gathering together, and there's a lot of people who are walking by this group. But as you walk out, you see that there is a man with his arm wrapped around the arm of a statue standing over a crowd with what appears to be like a very simple blowhorn in his other hand, yelling things to the crowd. If you want to stop and listen, you can. If you want to keep going,
Yeah, Nuzin will lurk at the back of the crowd.
I think Elliot, out of like just default behavior, would just keep walking and realize people are stopping and stop.
You want to roll perception to see if you realize people are stopping?
Yeah.
Sure. Roll it.
Split the party! Sure.
Nah, you realize people are stopping, and you guys are kind of on the back end of this crowd, and even with this bullhorn, it's relatively difficult to hear what this guy is saying.
Hmm.
Do you want to try and push further into the crowd?
No, I want to listen harder.
What do the rest of you want to do?
Can I just take a look at the people who are crowding around this person, and can I get a vibe of like what type of people, and if they're happy or like mad about this? Like, what's the feeling of the crowd?
So the feeling of the crowd.
And who are they? Like, is this poor people? Is this rich people?
Roll insight.
Okay.
Because we don't have a society roll in this game.
13.
I can't find the thing I wrote.
Oh no.
But
Oh, no.
So as you're kind of looking at this crowd with a 13, you can't really make out much about the guy who has his arm around the statue. Like, the crowd is thick enough that he's a good 100 yards away.
Okay.
But the people in the crowd are not nobles.
Okay.
These are like commoners. And you see more than a handful of half-elves as they're listening very intently to what this guy is kind of yelling from the edge. You guys can make out some words. You can make out arcana phase. You can make out world tree, like words you know. And you can
Elliot's
tell
gonna send Jeffries over the crowd.
You can tell that what he's saying is kind of riling people up.
Gotcha.
As you send Jeffries over the crowd, where are my notes and what I wrote down?
Too many notes. Too many.
All the time. And it's not even because I have that many, it's just because I have bad handwriting. And I physically write them. And I keep naming people Morgan in my campaign.
Captain Morgan.
Everyone's
Captain
Morgan.
Morgan.
I don't understand.
Okay. As you send Jeffries over, are the rest of you trying to get closer? Are we listening harder? Are we rolling perception?
Nuzin will step into the crowd.
I think Lulu would step behind or stay with Elliot and perceptify from afar.
Why not? Let's split the party. I'll push into the crowd. I did it for the mosh pit.
All right. So as you all kind of push into the crowd, you hear this man through this bullhorn preaching. Fellow citizens of Zraya, gather and heed the words of the World Tree, our guide and our guardian. The calamity that has befallen us, the scourge known as the Arcanophage, is not a mere twist of fate. It is a message from the natural world that we have long forsaken. As we delve deeper into arcane mysteries, as we tore away the very essence of magic from the earth, we have angered the World Tree. Our beloved city, once a beacon of harmony and wisdom, now stands besieged not just by forces without, but by corruption within. The World Tree calls us back to its roots, to the purity of nature that nurtures and sustains us. It implores us to abandon the reckless pursuit of arcane power that has brought this plague upon us. The path to our salvation does not lie in complex spells or shimmering enchantments. It lies out there. Look around, my brothers and sisters. See the suffering brought on by your detachment from the natural order. The Archanophage preys on those who have strayed the furthest from nature's path. It is a cleansing fire designed to burn away the taint of arcane abuse and leave behind the world reborn in its splendor. We must heed this call. We must return to the ways of old, when our kind lived in harmony with the earth, the sand, the sky, the sea. The world tree offers us redemption right outside those gates. A chance to restore the balance and heal the wounds that we have inflicted upon this world. Let us forsake the arcane that corrupts our souls. Let us embrace the natural magic flowing out there through all living things. Together under the boughs of the world tree, we shall find our salvation and begin anew. The time for change is upon us, and we must rise to the call. As, like, a lot of people... Actually, I'm gonna roll a charisma check for this dude preaching. There's, like, a hearty amount of people who are, like, nodding their heads along, and there's a hearty amount of people who are like, this dude is fucking nuts. But nobody's doing anything about it. They're just kind of letting him talk. You even see elven guards walking around the city, like glancing over and just kind of ignoring him.
Well, I'm glad to know they have freedom of religion here, I guess.
I was gonna say that. It's like, wow, free speech has come a long way in
Mhm.
in such a short time.
Not necessarily free, but he has a permit, I'm sure.
Does like he pay any attention to? Because like I imagine Newson probably stands like a full head above the rest of the people in this crowd. I don't think there's that many 7-foot elves.
He seems fully focused on what he is saying and not falling off the statue.
You know, that's fair. I wouldn't want to fall off the statue I was preaching from either.
But it seems like he's mostly like making eye contact with the people who are closest to him in the front row.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
And as his speech finishes, he just launches right into it again. As you hear like voices around, who speaks Elvish?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I do.
I forgot what things I have.
I know
doubt
you
I have
do,
Elvish,
Elliot.
I
though.
speak Elvish.
Like, so you all hear kind of different things. Like, Lyra, you hear some people being like, "Can you believe these cult guys? They've been everywhere. They're nuts." You hear other people like,
Oh, I got it. Nice.
"Okay, Karaki, you understand too." You hear other people saying things like, "Maybe we did forsake the gods. Maybe the Archanophage is only going to go after the ones who use magic. It's not going to go after all of us. We haven't done anything wrong." Like, there's a concerning... The concerning thing about it is that there doesn't seem to be a middle ground. They either seem to agree with him entirely, or they don't agree with him at all. And a lot of the people who seem to be agreeing with them, it kind of seems like the way they're saying it, that they're kind of desperately grasping at straws.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is, like I said, a decadent city to the point of excess and extravagance. This is probably the first time a lot of these people have experienced any real hardship in their lives, unless they fought in the war. And the war was mostly fought by the Warforged outside the walls.
Interesting.
I should say, and this is a very important thing that I really should have mentioned, Nuzin and Lulin, you probably have no fucking idea what this guy is yelling because he is yelling it in Elvish.
Yeah, I was gonna say we wouldn't understand any of it if he's speaking Elven, so
I never expected taking Elvish to come in handy. I'll be honest.
Newsom like listens for a little bit and then is just kind of like, well, and like shrugs and turns around and shoves her way back out of the crowd.
Karak's kind of standing there a bit, just because a lot of what they're saying is kind of similar to his own beliefs about how the forest provides and you can find what you need to know about out there. And he's not a big fan of the decadence he's seen so far. But he also doesn't think that's what this is all about. If there is middle ground, Karak is probably the only person.
As you all kind of make your way out, you get to the edge of the crowd, and it seems like people are passing out pamphlets.
Lyra's gonna take one. She loves pamphlets.
Sure, why not?
As you hand it to it, this half-elf looks at you, and they look like kind of bedraggled. Like their clothes have scuff marks, like they're not neatly. They hand you a pamphlet, Lyra, and they go, "You should come to one of our meetings. We can all rest in the World Tree's shade," as they like hand it to you, and then they hand one to you, Nuzin, and they repeat it in common.
Have you actually rested in a World Tree's shade before?
Of course.
Oh, okay, cool.
You've been to Zoid?
Of course, I'm from Zoid.
What's the deal with that place?
What do you mean? We honor the World Tree.
That's the whole city? That's all it is?
Yes. It is a sanctuary. The center of our beliefs.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could have more than just a religion in a city.
No, those who go to Zoit are on the pilgrimage. Finding their roots in the shade of the tree.
Huh. You ever talked to the tree before?
If only I could have been so blessed.
But some people do.
Of course.
Huh. What's like the vibe of your world tree?
It is disappointed in us.
Huh.
Are you sure you're not just disappointed in yourself?
Look at what it has done. It has brought this plague upon us.
The tree. The tree? You think the tree caused the plague?
We did not learn our first lesson when it turned our soldiers to stone, for breaking the souls that it has granted us and splitting them apart in the service of war. So it has taken those very souls and is using them to purge us, to bring us back to our roots in its shade. You should come to one of our meetings. One of the priests will be there, one of the acolytes. They can tell you more.
Does it say when the meeting is on the pamphlet?
It does. It says that they have meetings 3 times daily.
Jesus Christ.
You know, we'll think about it.
No, not Jesus Christ. The tree.
The tree.
Jesus Christ.
I was just about to say that. Damn it.
It
I
says...
think at this point, Elliot will sort of walk up to Nuzin. It's not polite to question people's beliefs in the streets, Nuzin.
I mean, if they wanted us to join, they should be able to talk about their beliefs.
I'm not gonna lie, Karak's just gonna kind of look at Elliot and just be like, I feel like you're one to talk, but we've made so much progress. I feel like it's like,
I think Elliot sort of like just looks back at Grok and it's like, just not here.
You know, fair.
Elliot, you being from here, these guys have been around forever, and they're generally regarded as being fucking insane.
Yeah.
As one of them kind of looks at you and they like hold out a pamphlet to you.
I'm good, thank you.
The irony of worshipping a tree and giving out paper pamphlets is not lost on me.
I didn't say they were made out of paper.
What are they made out of then?
They're made out of
in
leather.
A desert. All right, that's a bold
so
stance.
much worse.
It is indeed.
Really durable.
What's it smell like?
Hmm?
It was bound to happen.
Give me a
First one.
give me a survival check.
Okay. That is a 23.
It smells like rabbit.
Rabbit. Okay. In a desert?
It's like jackalopes, right?
There's desert hares.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
jackalopes are not real.
Yeah.
Well, we do.
I love a good jackalope.
I don't know, man.
Jackal-rabbits.
But I got a
Got a lot
friend
of
who
jackrabbits.
plays a jackalope. It's really hard not to remember that they don't exist.
Jackalopes aren't real. Bold words from the guy whose stepdad is a dragon.
Well,
Jackalopes aren't
I
real,
stand by it.
and neither were my gods to you for a long time.
They're not like, to be fair. So let me describe what these look. They're not particularly wide pamphlets. Like, they're not what you would expect from like a paper pamphlet. They don't open.
It's like a strip
they're not
of leather.
It's like a strip of leather with like words written down it in Common and Elvish.
Got it. That's still like, are they holding like fistfuls of them?
It seems like they're wearing them as bracelets and pulling them off and handing them to people.
Oh my god, they're the rubber bracelets that you get at every single meet.
It's still like a lot of leather, but I really just wanted to make sure it wasn't cow leather.
Yeah,
then
I was
have to
half
cave in a
tempted to say
skull.
manatee.
And then I'd really have to cave in a skull. But
No.
still like,
I'll save getting you to start a public problem for a little bit. We'll let you be in the city for more than 3 hours before you go to
yeah,
prison.
that sounds good.
At least 5.
Yeah. She'll just like tie it around like the strap of her bag so she doesn't lose it and be like, good luck with this.
Thank you. The location and the times, they're on the strip. Please come join us. At least give the trees shade a chance.
I mean, I've been in the shade of a world tree before.
We've seen 3 other world trees. We're pretty
Dang, I'm
familiar. How many have
behind.
you seen, good sir?
Darn, now I'm behind.
We like trees.
Technically 4 if you count.
That's
Now I'm
true.
really behind.
Yeah, but one of them fell down.
Yeah.
But we still saw it.
We talked
Yeah,
about
but that's fair. All right, 4 world trees. How many have you seen, good sir?
The one that gave the elves their lives.
Name 3 of their albums right now.
Elliot literally went from it's rude to
Sublime.
questions people beliefs in the street to how many world trees have you seen in less than 6 seconds?
How much do
Look,
you like
I'm
world
sick
trees?
of this.
Which one's
Let's
your
go.
favorite world tree? Is it the elven one? Yeah, you look like an
So-
elven world tree liker.
So, for your
For
notes,
the record, I've seen the elven one too, and it's smaller than the others.
Oh god.
Damn.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. It did
That's
grow in a
crazy.
desert. There can't be
So-
like that many nutrients.
for your notes, it says that if you want to hear more, obviously it doesn't literally say if you want to hear more, but the pamphlet says Raven's relics, sun up, sun down, and the highest point in the sky.
Well, it can't be there for sunup. I got obligations.
That's so fair.
And about what time is it right now?
Probably about. I mean, it's probably a little past noon, to be honest.
Mhm.
Okay,
'Cause
well,
it was
we're not
like-
going tonight.
It was like 10 o'clock when you got to the city. You probably spent some time with Elliot's uncle, took some time walking through the city. Watched your families get tied up and then didn't follow up on it quite yet.
Yeah.
Well, Newton,
Sure,
you
they're
didn't see your
fine.
family at all on the platform, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes. You didn't
Wasn't he
actually
going-
see any Minotaurs.
Wow, that's concerning.
I mean, you can make
That
an
is-
insight
I can't
check to
imagine
see if you would
that the
parse out.
non-magical
Yes, I would
Minotaurs
like
need
to.
to leave the city.
Go ahead and give me that insight check.
13.
Isaac kind of hit it dead on the head. They really wouldn't have a reason to run if they didn't have magic, and they probably wouldn't abandon the city. They just fought a literal war to keep.
That's fair.
But Elliot leads you through the throngs of people until you come across a shop front that is very colorful. It has bolts of fabric hanging in the windows and hanging from the sides because, don't need to worry about them getting rained on. They live in a desert. Might get a little bleached, but that could just add to the.
You just change the color name on the side.
Mm-hmm.
And the sign is not your standard falling sign with chains. It seems like it's so it's tied to the building with what seem like gossamer golden threads on all four corners. And as it kind of billows in the breeze, you see starlight fabrics, and the color of it changes as the light hits it as it billows. And
My
then
word, that is fancy.
And then inside the windows, you see a couple different things. I'm gonna into the chat for this. I'm going to drop some references.
Let's go.
You see some very noble apparel on mannequins. And it all seems like very light clothing. But it's long, billowy, it seems like the male clothing has fairly airy pants that get tucked into boots. It seems like there's a lot of long flowing strands of silk and all that. And then there's one kind of tucked behind the rest that is a much crisper, looks like a much more sturdy fabric with golden buttons and strands of gold and belts kind of woven in between them on the chest that is very clearly something you've all seen before. It's an elven officer's uniform. But the rest is very billowy, fur coats. It kind of looks like a mix between kind of Greek and Indian style, breathable clothes, very Mediterranean, but with some Russian fur collar accents and stuff like that.
I could vibe with that. Sounds very comfy.
As well, are you standing outside or are you going inside?
Well, I think we're trying to get this shit done, so.
I'm just following Elliot because Karak is just I have worn very plain attire for the longest time. This is the fanciest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, for sure.
These are fit for, well, gods.
Or just elven nobility. Anyways, follow me.
Mm-hmm.
As Elliot opens the door, the very first thing you feel as the door opens from the inside is kind of like a burst of cold, chill air against this like oppressive heat of the desert sun. As you head inside, no, there's around you, it seems like besides the fully put together suits and dresses in the window, the inside is just bolts of fabrics, which tracks with what Elliot told you about everything being custom made. But from somewhere in the back, you hear very light footsteps before a half-elf steps out in front of you, holds out her hand, and bows as her short-cut brown hair kind of falls over her head as she stands back up. Lila Starling. Who do I have the pleasure of working on today?
Well, we have myself. I'm Elliot Burning Oak, and these are my colleagues. This here is Nuzin, Lulin, Lyra, and Karak. They all have last names, but you wouldn't have heard of them. Or mine, for that matter.
Oh, I hear of a great many things.
Oh, well, introduce yourselves then, folks.
Wonderful to make your acquaintance. My name is Karakareen. Giving a tiny bow.
Hello, I'm Lyra Dream Shadow. I guess if you want my full name.
Of the Stipvale Dream Shadows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, yes.
You know, human.
So, for you, purples and yellows.
Yes.
And if you're Elliot Burning Oak, and you're Lyra Dream Shadow, then the two of you must be Nuzin and Lulin.
He did just say that, yeah.
My apologies. World Walker and Bold Speaker.
There you
Yes.
go.
However, bold speaker for not too long.
No, I suppose... Well, I suppose the name will be changing to Valiant Eye, will it not?
Lily brushes, he like rubs his hand behind his like man bun.
Who are you? How did you know that?
Well,
Yeah, that like just happened.
yes, well, your fiancé does have exquisite taste, and I deal only in the finest.
You haven't
Oh,
seen
she is
her
certainly
recently,
fine.
have you?
No, the last time she came in was about a month ago. Something about needing to touch up for a big event. Now, what can I put you all in today?
I'm sure you're familiar. There's a ball tonight.
Yes,
And we will all be
I
at
have
them.
quite the waiting list. But for heroes of your renown, I would just love to stick it to the nobility.
That's awkward. But that's cool, too.
Yes, well, you and I, Mr. Burning Oak, are from a very similar persuasion, she says as she taps one of her ears.
You know, that's a fair point. Now I'm thinking, personally, I like a nice fur collar. It's getting a little cold out. Sort of reflect that.
Oh, but... Well, I could probably include for you, I was hoping one day we would meet. I've had a very specific vision.
Well, my attire is your dream. I couldn't possibly impose my own opinions. Quite frankly, I have no fashion sense.
To be fair, I did imagine that you would be taller.
Okay.
But
Yes.
with the right pair of boots, I believe we can make that happen.
With, like, a little
Nuzin
heel.
Nuzin gently elbows Lyra behind Elliot and kind of goes like, and puts up 10 fingers with like a shrug.
Oh.
Nothing more suitable for the one who defeated the regent in the Right of Knives than your very own military uniform.
Well, I'd have to be a duke for that to be appropriate, wouldn't I?
Who said anything about this being appropriate?
Sounds like a plan. What do you guys want?
I don't make outfits, Mr. Burning Oak. I make statements.
Very good. I like myself a good statement.
Reminds me of like Cinna from the Hunger Games.
If I could speak on ideas, I would want something. If you're, boldening in statements, maybe a outfit for future cordial, something that reflects both me and future Mrs. Valley and I.
Oh, I have the perfect thing. Now, you, Mr. Bold Speaker, or should I say, the future Mr. Valiant Eye, your measurements I have been given.
That doesn't surprise me at all. It did for like a second, and then it didn't.
It all clicked.
Now,
Lulin's redder than the sun.
Now, I will say, you will not look better than your betrothed. That was made very clear to me.
Oh, I could never.
Something about not being able to marry a man who dresses better than she does.
I mean, when it comes to look, I'll always be second to her.
And that leaves us with 2.
Maybe like a cool hat.
If
it had a big rim, you could hide a book under the edge.
I could like tape his page to the top.
Like a big ass sun hat.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Wow,
nobody would be able to see when you were reading and not paying attention to what they were saying.
You're a fan of books?
That. Yeah.
Interesting. I might have just the thing. I've been working on a new enchanted fabric.
Okay. Like enchantments.
But that leaves us with Miss Worldwalker and Mr. Areem. Anything in mind?
Well, a lot of the samples that you have in here have sleeves and like, I mean, it might be obvious, but I've got a lot of tattoos and I don't like to cover those up. So, can you work with that?
Absolutely, I can.
Cool. Probably like somewhat functional too, like I guess movable maybe is the better, nothing with like a train or anything like that. The like a lot of fabric around the feet's not good with the hooves.
I would never imagine putting you in a train. But
okay,
what about
cool.
a sash that you could choke a man to death with?
Oh, also, I recently killed a fire god with help from the rest, so maybe that would be fun to include, like a little picture.
You'll have to tell me all about it while we work.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, sashes for choking people would be very useful. Oftentimes, I do get my weapons taken away, so improvised stuff is really helpful.
Now, come. We have work to do. We're on a very tight deadline.
Should I be first since you already have my measurements?
Oh, that's true.
Mr. Boldspeaker, I already have your outfit.
Damn.
Well, where's your changing room?
Right this way. As she leads you to the back, and she gestures to It seems like this entire shop is just one open space that she has hung fabrics in to create rooms.
I love that.
That is pretty good.
As
I'm gonna lean over to either Elliot or Nuza and just be like, I think I stood too still. I think I got completely grazed over.
I think she thought you were a statue for a minute there.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Maybe
I mean,
she
you did
already
forget
has an
to
outfit for you
moisturize for,
too.
like,
I don't think
1,000
my
years.
name has spread as fast as all of yours has. I'm still rather new.
Maybe
also from a different
maybe she's a fan
plane.
of your white lady. And the white lady
Maybe.
told her ahead of time.
Maybe. Now that would be a surprise.
Lulin,
Yes.
as you step into the dressing room, ahead of you, you see how do I describe this in a way that will make it not sound horrible?
Go get something.
It's an outfit.
This was an outfit picked out by Valiant Eye, and when you look at it, Lulin, the fabric, you know just looking at it that this fabric is going to be tight in the chest and the arms.
She knew what she wanted.
She wanted eye candy. You can't dress better than her, but she does want everybody to be jealous.
The fabric in front of you is a pale green with it's a very pale green, almost kind of a yellowish green, with seams that seem to run in corkscrews down the seams, and embroidered all along the seams that are these dark green seams are embroidered flowers and leaves.
Ooh.
The pants seem relatively simple. They're definitely designed for function, and they cut off at about the mid-calf. But the sash for the belt is almost an iridescent mixture of green, yellow, red, and blue. That almost seems like it's yours and Valiant Eye's colors completely intertwined.
That's because they are.
It also has a very deep V.
I was hoping it would.
Gotta have the deep V.
As Lulin gets dressed up, she turns, and she kind of looks at you, Lyra. You see her tapping her jaw, just hand on her chin, tapping like the edge of her jaw.
Lyra's
Books.
like trying to stand normal, but this will be awkward about it. She's
Come
like,
now,
"God,
up
rub
on the
my
pedestal.
hands." Okay.
Now, do we
Yes,
want
yeah.
something long, flowy, something a little bit shorter?
Maybe long. Yeah, long. I don't run that fast anyway, so
No. Something that makes it look like you glide across the floor, perhaps.
okay.
Something that would look really whimsical if she were to be scooped up for no particular reason.
That sounds good.
Of course, of course. Let me go get a bolt of fabric. I'll be back. The rest of you discuss what you want. As she kind of disappears into the cloths.
Kind of second guessing the hat situation. It's probably gonna be really dark.
I'm assuming we were talking about how she should have a really big wide brimmed hat so that we could attach a book to the top of it so she could read and pretend like she was talking, like paying attention, but not
No.
have to.
But I think it might be really dark.
Yeah.
Mhm. I'm just
Maybe if you
not
had like a really big sleeve, you could just keep a book in the sleeve and like then
Oh.
when nobody's looking, you just like a book, you know?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Book in my sleeve.
Yeah. You could probably like ask.
Because I have 2 sleeves.
True. Yeah. If you finish one during the night, there's a second book and a second sleeve.
This is the kind of innovation that fashion needs.
I agree. Absolutely.
So she comes back out not long after, holding a gown and a box. The gown itself almost looks like a sunset. It starts with yellow near the bottom and transitions up through red and purple to kind of a darker blue around the collar. And it seems like it has words on it all the way down, almost indecipherable.
Oh my God. It's a dress I can read. It's a dress that is a book. Oh my God.
As she holds out the dress, she also holds out a box and says, "Into the dressing room. Go."
Okay. We'll go in there.
Inside the box, Lyra, seems to be bangles and kind of almost gauntlets and a tiara.
Oh,
which they seem to be made of filigreed silver, and the intricate designs show mechanical birds and cogwheels that all kind of match up. Now,
so sick.
Miss Worldwalker, I do have a sash that when the proper force is applied will constrict automatically. Something from some of my more active clients. Is that something? What I do need to know is colors.
Well, I mean, I wear a lot of like, I mean, I guess I wear like, it's hard. I can't really wear like warm colors because of the, I'm like mostly kind of a rust color, so I usually trend towards like cool colors because that like complements the rust. Like I kind of become one big like tomato if you put me in like red or orange.
Yes, we don't want to do green either. Perhaps teal, something that will accent your tattoos.
Yeah, that would probably work.
I know just the thing, and don't think I've forgotten about you in the corner there, Mr. Areem.
Oh, wonderful.
What is it? What is the style you prefer?
Who are you asking?
You, of course. I already have a plan for Miss Worldwalker. And
Wonderful.
this entire time, she hasn't stopped looking at Newson. Almost like she's taking your measurements by just staring you down.
Newson is like was like making normal eye contact, but when she starts having a conversation with Karak and still looking at her, she starts kind of like
Newson,
like looking away.
Newson, the way she is looking at you is like a person sizing you up for a brawl.
Well, now I feel like I can't look away.
Mr. Areem,
I'm waiting. I do apologize that my name hasn't given you as many ideas as everyone else. I've rather been missing in action for a rather long time and having to make up for lost time.
I do have a color in mind for you, but I would like to know what style you prefer.
I've been in service to the Lady of White Roses for a very long time, so it's not exactly common for an acolyte or an advisor to dress more than something simple and functional, especially for one under the service of the Emerald Hunt.
Mr. Areem, I can assure you I can do functional. As she looks over at you for the first time, but I do not do simple.
Well,
Lady of White Roses, you say?
Mm-hmm. been in service to her for more years than I think many would believe.
I'm thinking to match your hair, maybe a cream.
Mm-hmm.
Cream color. Thorns around the collar. And a lapel. Yes, maybe simple will work for you.
What can I say? I fit my role well.
Mr. Burning Oak, your outfit's in the box on the ground.
Oh, okay. Let's feel like sort of reach down to grab it.
Elliot, as you grab this box, it's imagine like a Kohl's box, but it's a wooden trunk. Like a little bit thicker, a little bit wider.
Yeah.
As you take it into the dressing room and you open it, you realize that it is a direct opposite of everything the Zrayan military uniform is. It's blue, it has silver buttons, and inlaid around the edges as the filigree on the ends of the sleeves and the bottom of the coattails are wolves. Because the stories of you turning into a wolf have definitely made it back to Zraya.
It's perfect. It's fantastic.
The boots do seem to have a slightly thicker heel than most elven uniforms. And roll me investigation.
You got it, boss.
As she kind of disappears back into the back. As you're kind of fiddling around with the boots, you realize that the heels are so thick because they contain compartments. Compartments that could hold magical components.
We stashing shit, boys.
Put
Oh
your
my
heels
God.
together, cast a spell.
Oh my god, the
That's
stash.
sick as fuck, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Karak, Nuzin, she comes back out and she hands you both a box of your own. You have no idea how she's making these things this fast.
You were clearly honed at your craft. And as he opens up the box to look inside.
Karak, inside, the best way to describe it is that it looks like a rose. It has, there's no protrusions, but if you held your hand out to someone, the white glove would look like a rose on the end of a thorny stem. The shoulders are slightly padded. It has blood red buttons that hugely go against the cream color.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, as you asked, relatively simple. Nice set of leather brown boots go with it.
Mm-hmm.
It looks very in tune to what she would know of furbolgs, which is that they're very in tune with nature.
Absolutely.
Nuzin.
Mm-hmm.
The dress she gives you at first appears very flowy. Which is not what you asked for, but it does not have a train.
Well, I guess that's fair.
In the box along with it is a set of 8 rings.
Like finger rings?
Mm-hmm. And they're about, when you put them on, they would go to about your, it would go almost for the entirety of your bottom knuckle.
Mm.
It does have a sash that seems to wrap around, kind of like a shawl, but hooks into a bracelet that would go around either wrist.
So she just handed me brass knuckles and a sash to choke people with.
More or less. The color she chose seems to be kind of a light teal, but you can see that it almost looks like dye has been added that would make it look like your tattoos cross seamlessly across the dress. As you all kind of try on your stuff. What's everyone's kind of reactions inside the dressing booths?
Like the individual ones, or after we go out and
Well,
see
actually,
everybody?
let's say when we go out, what is everyone's reactions?
I think that Lyra sees Newson's outfit, jaw drops first, but then she's like, oh no, our colors don't match. I need to go get corsages. And now she's like, a corsage before today, and I don't know where they sell them. So at first she had the like moment of like shock and awe, and then she just immediately went into like an anxiety spiral about
What's a
it.
corsage?
I think we need corsages, and I don't know where to get them.
I don't know what that is, so I probably would worry about it.
As she walks up to Elder, she goes, now this, as I'm sure Mr. Burning Oak knows, is somewhat of my specialty. She walks up to Lyra, and she taps the center of the tiara. Are you wearing the tiara?
Yeah, oh yeah, she definitely put that on.
She taps the center of the tiara and says in Elvish, knowledge is power. As the gears on all the cufflinks lock together and begin to turn, as the words seem to flow across the dress.
Oh my gosh, it's like a puzzle and a book. And then she's kind of like looking at it and trying to read it, and she's like, okay, I'm a little dizzy.
As you say that, almost ironically, because this was already my next sentence, everyone else can see that on the tiara, the cogs are turning just enough that it looks like the birds are like flying across your forehead. And then she looks at Newson, and in Elvish, no, not Elvish, in Minotaur, says, but power is power too. And she taps the clasp on one of the shoulders as you feel all of the rings buckle and lock together.
Oh man, good for punching.
So that they're solid, as the entire dress becomes form-fitting.
Oh.
Like it almost pulls together into essentially a combat unit.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
It's like when you tighten a corset from the back.
As the sash unclips from one of the bracelets and wraps around your arm like a snake.
I would like to meet the people that you make these outfits for. They seem like my kind of people.
I can assure you, you wouldn't.
Oh, I think I would.
Mr. Burning Oak. A wolf hunts under a full moon. She says in Elvish, as you all watch the patterns of the wolves almost look like they start howling and running across the filigree of this suit. And then she looks at Karak and says, and every rose has its thorns. As the thorn designs pop out, become sharp, and then buckle forward down over your hands.
Clever.
And Mr. Bold Speaker, at the request of your betrothed, no extra magic has been added to yours. She said that you would look magical enough wearing it.
She ain't wrong.
So seeing everyone in this, we have Lyra's reaction. What is Newson's reaction?
I think Newson, when she came out in this loose-fitting dress, or like with the flowy dress, I think she would have been like kind of carrying it because she's trying not to step on it. And like, I don't know about this. Like, and then looking up and like looking around at everyone else, she's like, you know what? That's pretty good. Also, that is exactly. I don't think you could have made a better dress for Lyra. It's a dress, but also a book. It's literally perfect.
Yes, you'll have to bring it back in for tailoring. My initial vision was to have the Dream Shadow family history, but I don't have that much time.
Oh, yeah, wow. Okay, jeez.
I think it would be better if it was this fan fiction that she's been reading.
We might have to take selected chapters. But yeah, oh my
I'm
gosh.
sorry, but I don't sew smut.
What's on it right now?
Elliot just like pointedly looks at Lulin.
Lulin says, just like, yes, you do. You don't think I've seen my wife's work?
Only by proper request.
How do you properly request that?
You're a long-time customer. Don't say that. You could all be long-time customers one day.
Karak, upon like while they were putting it on, had that realization that they don't really remember wearing anything besides the design of outfit they've been wearing. Sort of having that moment. And when they exit, seeing everybody else in these other uniforms, sort of has that second realization of they've only been there a week, and yet they are the closest people that they know. That these people who have only known them for a week and some change have become integral parts of their life. And whether that stays or changes, it's up in the air, but he's honestly happy.
So, Karak, you don't really realize it because you're looking at everybody else, but as everybody else looks at Karak, the way the fabric kind of flows almost makes it look like sunshine coming through like the blowing leaves of a tree. Like it kind of dances across Karak's chest and arms.
Those world tree nuts are gonna love this outfit.
Oh.
It looks exactly like what it looks like when you lay down and you look up at the leaves.
Please don't. Please. Treat my work better
looks
than
down. Karak kind of looks down. It's like,
we can't be seen in these until the fall.
That as well, but I feel like those people out there they have it in a very weird way.
Yes, well, they're a cult. And not a cult of personality, which is what I'm hoping you'll all be by the end of the evening.
So we can let them all know where we got our outfits from.
Of course. Nothing would make me happier than turning them down when they come in.
It could have a mixed effect considering you're dressing minotaurs in Zrea.
Yes, well, what am I supposed to do? Be like every other tailor in town and dress elves?
You'd rather make sure you're bringing in the right clientele, right? Rather bring accepting people than people who would...
I do specialize in debutantes and troublemakers. Isn't that right, Mr. Burning Oak?
Well, yeah. I would describe that as accurate.
So you're a debutante?
For sure.
Got it.
Yes. I can't tell you the amount of outfits he had me procure trying to impress a certain someone.
Well, somehow
Nuzin elbows Lyra again, and Nuzin elbows Lyra again and does 10 fingers and then an additional 1 and then another shrug.
I think that Lyra's like trying to count in her memory. How many? How many does she remember?
9.
9. Lyra's gonna be like, for sure. Like she's like mouthing for sure. 9.
And then Newson's like,
Now is everybody
yeah.
Is everybody satisfied with what they're wearing?
Of course. I'll go change out of it, and then we can discuss your payment.
Absolutely wonderful job.
Well, I won't take any fewer than 35 platinum. Each.
Well, of course not.
How many were we given? 200.
30.
And I do accept tips.
35. 30.
35 times 5.
You'll have 25 platinum left.
150.
I think we should just give it all to her.
Yeah, just give her the full
125.
200.
That sounds good.
75.
It's almost like she knew how much money you were coming with.
It's almost like,
We just need receipts.
Hey,
so,
nobody is better informed than a noble's tailor.
Well, I think the
She
only thing
hears
we'll
all the dirt.
require. I think the only thing extra we'll require is a receipt, as per our lovely
Hey.
host's request.
Oh,
Yeah, if you just want to send it to his uncle directly, honestly, that would be really great.
I'll send
Something about taxes?
I'll send it with the crates.
Perfect.
But I don't take returns.
What are taxes? I never asked that.
Oh. Taxes are bullshit. Anyways,
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
Taxes? I
once
haven't
I've
seen a farm anywhere. Or a
obvious
latrine.
No, taxes are very difficult. Obviously, this is a gift from me to you, and your platinum is a gift from you to me.
Yes,
As it always
obviously.
Yes.
And as everybody kind of changes back into their normal clothes to head to wherever you're going to go to next, that is where we're going to end the session.
Okay. Dang, not quite making it to the ball.
We got to save the ball for its own episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta
Every
go lucky
time
the
they've
fight
been to a
scene.
listen, term. Every
Yeah.
time they've been to a party, someone's died.
The last time we were at like a sort of a ball specifically, me and Lyra ended up in the red pit, so
Oh, I forgot about. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
so we didn't
because
have corsage.
Newson didn't have a fighting dress though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't have a fighting dress.
All
Now
right.
it'd be different. I'd just slug the fucker.
Thank you to everyone for coming and hanging out with us. Thank you to everybody who showed up to watch. Thank you to all our Raiders, Silver Strikers, and the Sky Tea every Monday, like clockwork.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's almost like it's because I come here every Monday like clockwork.
It's almost
Like
like
we
this is
said.
one of Sky's favorite places to be during the week.
It's true. I love D&D. I have an addiction.
Same.
I mean, there are worse yet less expensive addictions. Dice are really expensive, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Speaking of dice,
Oh no.
Oh no.
I was gifted. Oh god, don't fall over. The most cursed set of dice in history.
Oh boy, what's in it?
This dice set contains
Mm-hmm.
a D3, a
Oh.
D5, a D7, a D14, a D16, a D24,
see.
and a D30.
Let me see. I need to see these shapes.
Oh my word.
Okay, I need you to send
I-
me pictures of these shapes. As a mathematician, I'm
I
interested.
must know. How
That
did you
is
make
the
a
most cursed thing.
How did you make a 3-sided
Well, so the
polyhedron?
D3 is just a D6, but the sides are
Okay.
I was gonna
1, 2,
say,
3, 1, 2, 3.
yeah. The D5 though, very interesting.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I remember very specifically there was a calculus problem that we did to determine the thickness of a cylinder to make it a fairly weighted D3.
I mean, people have done it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wait, but
but I
how-
remember that. Go on.
No D1? I had a D1
I
once.
just feel like it'd be like not about the weighting, but like surface area wise, I feel like it would be really hard to have a fair D3. You know what I'm
All right.
saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like there's so much more surface area on the outside of a cylinder than there is on the tops.
Mm-hmm.
The
The
D.
question
So you just
that
wouldn't
we
have
answered in
numbers on the
calculus
I think-
was you have to pick a thickness such that at any angle it was equally likely to be one of the three sides.
Cool. So it's just really like stout.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
basically.
much.
Okay.
Coin that can land on its side.
I don't need a D1.
Here we are, engineers
one.
answering the important
Listen,
questions the world
I had a
has.
D1. It was kind of neat.
How?
You take a like it's basically just a cube with an air bubble in the middle of it, so you can see the center bubble all the time. So no matter what you roll, it's the one.
That's kind of funny.
It
Well,
really
I
is.
was half expecting you to just throw a Mobius
We're a little
strip
over,
on the
we're a
ground.
little over time, and I know people have things to do still, so we're gonna wrap it up real quick. Thank you to all of our players. We have Elliot Burning Oak, played by.
It's Isaac. And today, my favorite part was being awkward in every sense of the word.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have Lyra Dream Shadow, played by.
Hello, I'm Rosie, one Rosie CS on the internet. And my favorite part about today was requesting a big hat. and
Fucking-
not getting it because Lyra is not a fashion person and she was happy to, leave that decision in someone else's hands.
And then we have Karakareem, played by.
Hello, Terminian Link VT. And my favorite part was hearing Newson go, "Jesus Christ!"
And then we have Newson Worldwalker, played by.
It's me, the Sky T. My favorite part was also being in full support of a big hat for Lyra as a good girlfriend, and
Yes.
because and also being not good at fashion.
And last we have Lulin Boldspeaker, played by.
And me, Brambo. I also have to say the hat. I don't know why it was so funny, but it fucking set me.
All
And I'm
right.
still giggling. I'm still giggling.
A big hat that you can sew a book to the inside of.
Yeah. Actually, I do have. Okay, you guys continue.
All right. Thank you for watching, everybody. As always, I'm PT, your disaster tour guide, and thank you for watching the disaster tour. Unfortunately, I don't know where to drop you off, so this will be our last stop of the evening.
Oh, okay.
But
Nobody's live.
nope. But have a wonderful rest of your night. We will be live tomorrow again, doing the worst Baldur's Gate run of all time.
Woo!
Where it took us an hour and a half to get into it, but only 10 minutes to finish the Gauntlet of Shar.
All right then.
Wow.
We will be going live a little bit later tomorrow night, though, because your boy picked up extra shifts.
Mhm.
And school starts tomorrow for me.
Yep.
School. It's Sewell.
Shul
It's Sewell sucking.
Shul. Mm.
went to a lovely place called Shul.
But have a wonderful time. My favorite part was describing all of the outfits.
Mhm.
Wonderful.
I planned.
You did.
But have a wonderful rest of your night. We will see you again tomorrow, and potentially later this week. Who knows? I don't. But until then, don't do anything I wouldn't do. The bar's, like, super low. Like, really super low. And if you somehow end up below the bar, enjoy prison? Have a wonderful rest of your night, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.